The iPhone 14 is already getting a bad rap. Reviewers just crack into this phone. Let's take a look at these preview images courtesy of Creative Electron. Right off the bat, we see some interesting gaps where we'd normally find a SIM module. What's waiting for us there? Let's find out. The two pentalobe screws come out and the phone goes on the heating mat. Some quick prying action gently separates the screen from the body. Using a pick, we make our way around the screen, being careful not to nick the flex cable. Open it like a book and that's new. There's supposed to be a battery in here. Instead of internals, there's this big expansive metal shield. However, we can still access the connectors to remove the display. Now that is a major change. This will really streamline screen repairs. But how do we get into the rest of the phone? Well, almost every Android phone in the world opens from the back, so let's give that a try. Throw the phone on the heating mat and use a suction handle to separate the back from the mid-frame. There's some promising new flex, and boy are we excited when the back does start to lift. An opening pick makes quick work of cutting through the glue, and this time we open to the right, revealing the view we were expecting to see under the display. Like, so hard you need this fancy laser machine. And unlike an Android, you can still replace the screen with ease. It's the best, but let's keep going deeper. We remove the brackets and screws for the charging coil and battery connector, and the two cables can be disconnected, freeing the rear glass. Next up, we undo the screws and flex cables for the Taptic engine, and remove a further 7 screws to take out the lower speaker assembly. 2 pull tabs at the top of the battery, a little alcohol to help loosen things up, and the battery comes out clean and easy. Pop these connectors up here and we can remove both the front-facing cameras and the main rear-facing camera assembly. The upper speaker comes out next, revealing a standoff as the last holdout securing the stubborn logic board to the mid-frame. If you're wondering how all of this works and what chip is responsible for which function, well, you'll have to wait just a little while, because we're also working on an iPhone 14 Pro Max teardown that'll be publishing in the next couple of days. The ability to remove both the screen and back panel addresses one of the main repairability challenges with the iPhone. Since the 5, they've used the design optimized for the two most common Apple Store repairs, the battery. When you drop an iPhone 13, its metal frame absorbs that shock, transmitting and spreading the force across the glued-in battery and sturdily adhered rear glass. The iPhone 14 meets the same challenge in a different way. The new mid-frame sits between the display and the guts of the phone and takes the brunt of force distribution across the frame and battery. Another problem they had to solve while separating the back panel is RF. The incredible wealth of antennas that make modern 5G, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and satellite all work in one device require extensive grounding. 10 new electromagnetic interference fingers connect the contact points spaced across the rear panel to preserve grounding that was previously accomplished pairing parts to the phone, requiring activation of the back glass after installation. Why in the world would you need permission to install a sheet of glass? Using software to prevent the replacement of components with aftermarket parts gets a big thumbs down from us. These locks are frustrating and ultimately futile. This is the most substantial iPhone redesign since the 10. It's hard to understate how big a change this is. Samsung hasn't changed their phone architecture since 2015. So, with the biggest update in years,